What's up, Finstock Nation? What's up, Dolphin Nation? How you doing today? Today we're going to go ahead and review an article of how many, in terms of draft capital, how many draft picks the Dolphins have following the Jaelan Phillips trade to Philadelphia. And then I'll go into more detail in terms of the Tankathon website. I'll tell you where the Dolphins currently stand in terms of a high draft pick, and then go into details which draft picks they have, and then leave you my thoughts at the end of the video. Like always, I appreciate your support, and I love your interaction in the comments, so leave me your comments down below. What do you think the Dolphins are going to do with Mike McDaniel after the season's over, or do you think Mike McDaniel will be fired before the season? And who are your top candidates to replace Mike McDaniel if Mike McDaniel is fired, or is that going to be decided by the new full-time GM? Like always, leave me your thoughts down below, and I appreciate your entire support of this channel. Finstock by Roland with Carlos. Updated look at the Miami Dolphins 2026 NFL Draft. Capital following the Phillips trade. The Miami Dolphins now have a stockpile of picks in the first 3 rounds. This is by Dante Colinelli yesterday, November 3rd, 2025. And today, remember, is the trade deadline, so more moves can happen by the Miami Dolphins until 4 p.m. today, Tuesday, November the 4th, 2025. The Miami Dolphins made their first trade deadline deal Monday morning, the team sending edge rusher Jaelan Phillips to the Philadelphia Eagles for a 3rd-round selection. It's not surprising to see the Dolphins sell off some talent after parting ways with general manager Chris Grier while sitting at a 2-7 record on the season. In fact, we wrote about why moving on from Chris Grier indicated the team was likely to make several moves. The Dolphins should be focused on the future now, and a big part of that future will be the 2026 NFL Draft. With the Phillips trade netting the Dolphins another pick, let's look at where the Miami Dolphins sit in terms of draft capital. Before looking at Miami's entire stockpile for the upcoming draft, it is important to figure out which pick the Dolphins got from the Eagles. ESPN Adam Schefter is reporting the pick is the Eagles, not the one they have from the Jets. The Eagles are 6-2 this season, so the pick is slated to be pretty late in the 3rd round. Barring some kind of collapse by Philadelphia, right now Tankathon has the pick at 95th overall, and I'll show you that to you guys later. The second to last selection before compensatory picks start. It makes sense that the Eagles would want to hold on to the Jets' 3rd-round pick, which is slated to be 67th. One selection ahead of Miami's 3rd-rounder based on the current standings. For the Dolphins, however, this guarantees them a 3rd-round pick before the compensatory formula is applied. It's the best thing they could have gotten for Phillips anyways, but his pick will be higher and convey immediately. The Dolphins are now up to 8 selections in the 2026 NFL Draft. Here's each of them and what pick they're projected to be through week 9. Round 1, 4th overall. Round 2, 37th overall. Round 3, 68th overall. Round 3, 75th overall via the Texans. Round 3, 95th overall via the Philadelphia Eagles Phillips trade. Round 4, 105th overall. Round 5, 144th overall. And round 7, 219th overall. The Phillips trade gives the Dolphins 3 3rd-round picks and 5 inside the top 100 selections, which won't change regardless of the Dolphins' final record. Miami acquired the Texans' 3rd-round pick in a trade during the 2025 NFL Draft. The Texans traded for the 2024 4th-round pick to select running back Woody Marks, while Miami was content to take a pick for the next season. It was the same thing the Dolphins did the previous year when they sent the 2025 3rd-round pick to the Eagles for the 2024 4th-round pick that was used on Running back Jalen Wright. 5 picks in the top 100 for a rebuilding team is an excellent start. The Dolphins will have a ton of needs heading into the offseason and might have a big one at quarterback depending on what happens the rest of the way. If nothing else, additional draft capital that is slated to be inside the top 100 picks will give the Dolphins' new full-time general manager plenty of flexibility to move up and down the board as desired. Of course, Miami still has other players they could move ahead of the deadline Tuesday, like Bradley Chubb, Matthew Judon, Rasul Douglas, and maybe even Minkah Fitzpatrick. More Miami Dolphins coverage on Miami Dolphins side. All right, guys, let's go to the Tankathon website and show you so you can physically see. Miami currently sits at the 4th overall pick in the first round, the 37th overall pick in the second round, the 68th overall pick in the third round, their first third round pick, the 75th overall pick, which was with the trade from the Houston Texans, the 95th overall pick, which would be the last pick on the second to last pick on the third round before the compensatory picks start. The fourth round, 105th pick, and then the 144th pick, and then on the seventh round, it's at 219, but it's now 218. So they will be sitting on 218 as of right now. In terms of, I agree with the Miami Dolphins as I reporter. This will provide flexibility, and since we're going to be going in rebuilding mode or full reset mode, this is a great start to try to rebuild the team in the new GM's image and possibly the new coach's image if Mike McDaniel is not around. And if Mike McDaniel is around and we get rid of Tua or trade Tua, he might want to get his own quarterback, which can actually run, because Tua is very limited with his running skills. And yes, he can prolong plays, but he has a average to below average arm. So I think even if McDaniel sticks around, he would want a mobile type quarterback for his type of system. And even if McDaniel doesn't stick around, I suspect the Dolphins to pick a quarterback, even with their new head coach, to be mobile. And we'll see what type of changes the GM and the new head coach or McDaniel want to make, depending on what happens during the offseason. And if McDaniel sticks around, McDaniel may stick around because remember he has $19 million still on the table on a 2-year extension that was given to him at the end of last year. So we'll see what happens. But definitely there will be a new GM. And I've said it before, if there's a new GM and Mike McDaniel sticks around, that's a half-measure fix. It shouldn't be that way. If you're going to blow it up or make adjustments and become a rebuilding team, you should rebuild with a new GM and a new head coach. Leave me your thoughts down below of what you think of all these draft picks and what's going on with Mike McDaniel, the new GM search, and all that. Give me your thoughts down below. And like always, I appreciate your support. Like always, stay positive, stay on your guide, and go Fins.